Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Recaps. Today I'm going to be explaining a 2020 Hindi horror thriller film titled, Bhoot the Haunted Ship. This movie was inspired by true events. In 1750, a ship named the Seabird docked at Rhode Island, when onlookers noticed there was no crew on the deck. The ship then sailed itself through the rough breakers to beach itself gently on the shore. To this date, nobody really knows what happened to the crew of the Seabird. The movie begins with a mother filming her daughter, celebrating her birthday aboard a ship. She is married to the captain and the little girl's name is Mira. The girl is around 8 years old and is inseparable from a raggedy doll. As the party continues, Mira wanders around the ship. She encounters an evil spirit who keeps picking her up and trying to play with her. When she complains about dropping her doll, the ghost steals her away and the doll is abandoned. 5 years later, we are introduced to the protagonist of the film, Prithvi. He's a customs officer who's got a tip-off about a human trafficking ring. He sneaks into the shipping dock and manages to save the lives of 30 women who were bound and ready to be shipped off. He fights off the traffickers and is hailed a hero by the entire city. We are then shown a flashback where we watch Prithvi sneak out his girlfriend just before her wedding and they both elope together. The both of them have an amazing life and bring a little baby girl into this world. As years go by, she grows up and Prithvi is an amazing father to her. They seem to be a happy little family just like every one of us dreams. In the present, Prithvi sits all alone in his apartment, indicating that something terrible has happened with his family. Every night, he dreams about playing with his daughter just like they used to in the past. Prithvi's only emotional support is his friend and colleague Riaz, who's been with him through thick and thin. One night, it is reported that a ship named Seabird has washed up ashore at the local beach. Everyone in the country believes that this was an attack from an enemy country as there's no crew on board and the ship seems to be in a terrible state. Prithvi and Riaz are tasked with finding out where the ship has been for the past 5 years. That very night, an adventurous couple decide to board the ghost ship. They both have their fun until the girl gets snatched into oblivion and the evil spirit snaps the guy's neck. Early next morning, Prithvi and his team are aboard the ship looking for clues. He comes across Mira's raggedy doll and doesn't really think much of it. As he goes further down the creepy ship, he drops his flashlight. When he goes looking for it, he comes across the doll once again. He tries to grab it, but it just keeps moving further away. He tries to use a stick but is shocked to find out that doll is now behind him. That night as he sleeps, he wakes up to find a picture of his wife dropped to the floor. He hears the doll singing in his room and suddenly finds himself holding the doll and freaks out. Not having a clue about what's going on, Prithvi goes looking for the doll in the same room the next morning where he finds some hidden records and a tape. As he goes further into the ship, he spots a room that's in immaculate condition. This is very surprising as the rest of the ship is in a terrible condition. He clicks a few pictures, until he spots a demon. Thinking he's just hallucinating, he moves to the deck and the same demon tries to attack him. Later that night, he tries to show Riaz the pictures of the room, but the pictures on his phone have now changed. He's a little worried that he's losing his mind but just shakes it off and decides to keep it a secret. He develops the tapes and watches a woman named Vandana exposing the ship for smuggling illegal substances and gold. At the end of the clip, we watch her husband who's an alcoholic abuse her. With everything that's been happening to him lately, he approaches a paranormal expert and professor named Joshi. As soon as he enters the professor's office, the EMP machine delivers a loud beep and the professor immediately claims that there is an evil spirit around Prithvi. Prithvi doesn't believe in ghosts and reveals that he lost his family in an accident and that he's not been taking his medication so he can continue to feel their presence in his dreams. The paranormal experiences he's facing might be the side effects of not taking his medication, but Joshi tells him that there's more to it than that. Prithvi laughs it off and goes back home. The next morning, a kid finds a rotten corpse in the sand. Prithvi is tasked with removing Seabird from the shores before more people try to board the ship and get themselves killed. The salvage boat fails miserably and Prithvi sees someone fall into the water. He jumps right in, ignoring Riaz's warnings. While saving the man, he notices a hole in the lower regions of the Seabird and sees a girl staring back at him. Prithvi and the man are saved by the lifeguards but are both admitted in the hospital. As Prithvi sleeps, he dreams of the incident that took away his family. Apparently, he urged his wife and daughter to go white water rafting. Unfortunately, the boat flips over and Prithvi holds onto his daughter for dear life, but the life vest is too loose for her and she gets lost in the rapids. His wife on the other hand hits her head on a rock and dies on the spot. He wakes up to find his wife and daughter blaming him for their death. In a haze, thinking he's invincible, Prithvi decides to explore the ship all alone. As he enters, he hears footsteps all around him. He pries out an axe and decides to chase whoever's messing with him. The footsteps lead him to the engine room, so he breaks open the door. As he's climbing down the ladder, it breaks and he's left hanging for dear life. Just as he pulls himself up, he spots the raggedy doll again and out of nowhere the evil spirit pushes him. He has a steep fall and passes out. On the other hand, Riaz is at Prithvi's place trying to get to him. He figures out that he's probably on the ship and decides to go after him. Prithvi soon comes back to his senses and tries to get out of the ship as he hears the evil spirit crawling all around him. He finds an old video camera and picks it up. Just as he opens a door, the rotten corpse of a man almost crushes him. Finally, he finds a ladder and uses it to climb out of the engine room. He finds the exit, but unfortunately he can't get to the other side. He decides to go back down, but the evil spirit breaks down the lock and shows herself. The both of them are at a standoff and everything around them starts to levitate. She screams and fires it all towards him, but luckily Riaz steps in at the exact moment, saving his life. The both of them run away from there and jump off the ship. They both share an awkward ride back home as Riaz seems to be extremely pissed at his man-child. He then goes home and watches the videos from the camera he found earlier. He watches little Mira, the captain's daughter, celebrate her birthday on the ship. He realizes the girl he saw on the seabird might be Mira as he recognizes her by the doll who has been wandering about Prithvi and spooking him. After more research, Prithvi is convinced that the girl is Mira and that she is possessed by an evil spirit. Prithvi states that Mira disappeared when she was around 7 and the girl they saw was around 13 years old. Meaning that the girl is still alive, as an evil spirit does not age. Riaz wants to stay away from it all. But Prithvi persists, mostly because he lost his daughter due to his carelessness and wants to make up for that by saving this little girl. He brings in all his evidence to Professor Joshi who says that if the girl is indeed Mira, she's possessed and separating her from the entity might put her life at risk. That night, Prithvi watches more of the videos he recovered and sees the crew members standing in a line and jumping off the ship. He sees a smiling face of a crew member afterwards and wonders who he could be. Prithvi has a vision of him and his daughter back at the river. She begs him to save her from the dark and he just wakes up after the nightmare. Looking at the old records he manages to track down the woman from the ship, Vandana, who's Mira's mother. He then convinces Riaz to help him with his little adventure. Back at the ship, we are shown the girl laying by an opening where there's water, and running her fingers around. There's a noise heard in the dark before someone throws a fish at her. The girl looks up before grabbing the fish and chomping down on it. They go to a church and pretend to return things they found aboard the ship to Mira's mother's family. They are informed that Mira's mother Vandana is alive and well. They see her pleasantly lighting candles before ruining her mood by telling her of their suspicions. She, in return, provides them with the missing information. She was an abused wife and had tried to take her life, but a crew member, the one they saw in the video, saved her. His name was Amar and it didn't matter to him that Vandana was married to the captain. He wanted to have an affair with her that caused Vandana to become pregnant with his child. Vandana wanted to bring down her husband by filming videos of the ship's illegal cargo that consisted of illegal substances and gold bars. Amar had become too eager with the video camera and was caught. He was tortured and according to Vandana, succumbed to his injuries. They decide to take Vandana to the ship to save her daughter but hand over a walkie-talkie to her and tell her to wait on the deck while she gives them directions to the secret compartment where Mira was supposedly kept. But of course, Vandana doesn't do as she's told. She sees Mira as a little girl and goes after her. Prithvi and Professor Joshi fall down a room and Riaz is attacked by the evil spirit so he runs away abandoning everyone on the ship. Prithvi finds the hidden compartment of the ship and spots a skeleton hanging at the top. They are suddenly attacked by Mira. She starts choking Prithvi with her powers, and just before she could finish the job, she is interrupted by her mother and she disappears. When Prithvi grabs her hand, he sees what really happened back at the ship. Amar had been tortured horribly for 2 days but did not reveal the secret. Vandana, fearing for her child's life, stabs Amar and kills him. When she told the captain that she was pregnant, he started treating her right and stayed with him for the sake of her daughter. Unfortunately, the spirit of Amar was not pleased and managed to drown everyone on board and possess his daughter. This is exactly how we all need to parent our kids, because why not, right? Just as the two of them are about to run out of there, they are finally approached by the spirit of Amar. He traps Prithvi under a pile of metal and Vandana begs the father of her child to let their daughter go. The spirit kills her instantly. Professor Joshi tries to help, but gets drowned in the process. Prithvi, on the other hand, manages to bring down the skeleton by breaking the lever, and just as Amar is about to kill him, he sets the whole room on fire using the diesel from the barrels. Amar is finally put to rest as his skeleton is now burnt to ashes. Prithvi finds little Mira unconscious under all the rubble and finally gets her out of the ghost ship. The movie ends with Prithvi and Mira sharing a bowl of noodles, indicating that he's now given her a life by adopting her as his own. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.